The Trump Phenomenon Prologue. The eternal disruptor. History is usually written by the victors, but Donald J. Trump is a man who writes his own history in real time, and he writes it in bold, gold letters. He is perhaps the most documented, debated, and divisive human being of the 21st century. To his supporters, he is a secular messiah, the only man brave enough to challenge a corrupt global elite. To his critics, he is a chaotic force of nature that threatens the very fabric of democratic institutions. But if you strip away the noise, the tweets, and the 24-hour news cycles, you find a story that is quintessentially American. It's a story about the raw power of the individual will. It's about a man who refuses to accept the word no, from a multi-million-dollar debt that would have crushed any other mogul to a political comeback that defied every law of political gravity. Trump has lived a life of constant high-stakes gambling. Today, we go deeper than ever before. We analyze the empire, the ego, and the evolution of the 45th and 47th President of the United States. This is the definitive inside story of Donald Trump. Chapter 1. The son of Fred, the roots of a killer. The story begins in Queens, 1946. Donald was the fourth of 5 children born to Fred and Mary Trump. Fred Trump was the son of German immigrants, a man who built an empire of middle-class brick apartments across Brooklyn and Queens. But Fred wasn't just a builder, he was a taskmaster. He instilled in Donald a philosophy that would become his North Star. You are a killer. You must win. In the Trump household, weakness was the only sin. Donald was a high-energy child, often getting into trouble for his rebellious streak. At age 13, his father reached his limit and sent him to the New York Military Academy. This was a brutal awakening. Under the command of a former drill sergeant, Donald learned that life was a hierarchy. He learned the value of a clean uniform, a sharp appearance, and the psychological power of projecting strength. He then moved to the Wharton School of Finance. While his peers were immersed in the counterculture of the 60s, Trump was scouting real estate. He didn't want to build for the masses like his father. He looked across the East River at Manhattan. To him, Queens was for losers, Manhattan was for killers. He convinced his father to give him a small loan of $1 million and set out to conquer the most expensive island on earth. Chapter 2. The Skyline King. The 80s gold rush. The New York of the 1970s was a nightmare of crime and decay. But Donald saw a canvas. His first masterpiece was the Grand Hyatt Hotel. By using his father's connections and a level of sheer audacity that shocked city officials, he secured a massive tax break. He took a dying hotel and turned it into a temple of glass. Then came the crowning achievement, Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. Opened in 1983, it was a revolution. He realized that luxury was a feeling, not just a product. He used 60-foot waterfalls and enough gold to make a king jealous. Trump Tower became the center of the world. Celebrities, royals, and business titans all wanted to live in the Trump style. This was when he perfected the Trump brand. He realized that if people believed you were successful, you were successful. He bought the Plaza Hotel, the Mar-a-Lago estate, and even the Usfalls New Jersey Generals. In 1987, he published The Art of the Deal. It wasn't just a book, it was a manifesto for a new generation of capitalists. He was the king of the 80s, the man who had everything. Chapter 3. The Debt Trap and the Survival of the 90s. But every king faces a rebellion. In the early 90s, Trump's ambition finally outpaced his wallet. He had built the Taj Mahal Casino in Atlantic City using high-interest junk bonds. When the economy slowed down, the debt became a noose. He was $900 million personally in debt, and his businesses owed over $3.4 billion. The media, which had built him up, now enjoyed tearing him down. His marriage to Ivana collapsed in the tabloids. He was a laughingstock. But this is where the Trump psychology revealed itself. He didn't retreat. He went to the banks, who were now his partners in debt, and convinced them that he was too big to fail. If he went down, they went down. He survived by the skin of his teeth. He sold his yacht, his airline, and a massive stake in his properties. He took a salary from the banks. For nearly a decade, he was a survivor, not a conqueror. But he never stopped talking. He never stopped projecting the image of a billionaire, even when his bank account said otherwise. By the late 90s, he had cleared his debts and was ready for his second act. Chapter 4. The TV Titan and the birther movement. In 2004, Donald Trump became a brand new kind of star. The Apprentice debuted and was an instant hit. It presented Trump as the ultimate arbiter of success. To a generation of Americans, he was the man who knew how to hire, fire, and lead. It rebuilt his image as a master CEO. But Trump wasn't satisfied with TV. He began to use his platform to speak on politics. He became the face of the birther movement, challenging President Obama's birthplace. This was the moment he realized he had a direct line to a base of voters who felt ignored by both political parties. He began to refine his message. America is losing. I know how to make us win again. He was mocked by the DC establishment, most notably at the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner. But as he sat there, being ridiculed by the president, something changed. The killer inside him decided that the ultimate deal wasn't a building, it was the presidency. Chapter 5. The MAGA Revolution 2015-2020. On June 16, 2015, the world laughed when Donald Trump announced his candidacy. They called him a clown. But as he traveled the country, he realized he had hit a nerve. He spoke about trade, immigration, and the forgotten man. He used Twitter like a weapon, bypassing the media. His 2016 victory was a geopolitical earthquake. As the 45th president, he set out to destroy the deep state. He withdrew from the Paris Agreement, renegotiated NAFTA, and held historic summits with Kim Jong-un. His presidency was a constant war with the media, the intelligence community, and his own party. He was impeached twice, first over Ukraine, then over the events of January 6. The 2020 election, dominated by the COVID-19 pandemic and social unrest, saw him lose to Joe Biden. He left Washington in silence, banned from social media and facing a mountain of legal trouble. Many thought the Trump era was finally over. Chapter 6. The Legal War and the Ultimate Resurrection. 20-1 present. The years following his presidency were the most dangerous of his life. He faced 91 felony counts. He was the first former president to have a mugshot. But instead of hiding, he turned every courtroom into a campaign stop. He told his supporters, "They are not coming after me. They are coming after you, I'm just in the way." The 2024 campaign was a masterclass in political survival. Then came July 13, 2024. In Butler, Pennsylvania, a bullet came within centimeters of ending his life. The image of Trump standing up, blood on his face, pumping his fist and yelling "fight," became an instant icon. It galvanized his base and silenced many critics. In November 2024, he achieved the impossible. He won a second, non-consecutive term, winning both the Electoral College and the popular vote. As the 47th president, he returned to the White House in 2025 with a mandate for total reform. His second term is marked by a sweeping overhaul of the federal government, mass deportations, and a global trade reset. He is no longer an outsider, he is the undisputed leader of a global populist movement. Epilogue. The legacy of the Donald Trump is a man who defies categorization. He is a builder who destroyed political norms, a billionaire who spoke for the poor, a man of chaos who demands order. He has reshaped the American judiciary for a generation and changed the way the world views American power. His legacy will be debated as long as there is an American republic. But one thing is certain, Donald Trump is a survivor. He is a man who refused to be forgotten, refused to be defeated, and refused to follow the script. He built an empire, lost it, rebuilt it, and then conquered the world's most powerful office twice. The Trump era is far from over. It is now part of the very DNA of America. Thank you for watching.